I think it's no different than we were down 2-0 against St. Louis. The only difference is we're in the Western Conference Finals now, and there's with each round there's a little more pressure, and it's a matter of handling that individually and collectively. And we're back on home ice where we've played very well this year, and um, today we looked at some video and what we can do better. It's a matter of executing.
Does that help that you've been here before? You just touched on that now. I mean, does that help, or is this a new series?
I think you can draw on the fact that we've been in this situation before, in the sense that the series is long from over for our mindset. It's about playing the game. I mean, we try to cut it in half tomorrow night, and that's all we're worried about. We're not thinking about game 4, game 5, or we're thinking about tomorrow night, your first shift, first play you have to make, and then you go from there.
Dustin, you talked about what you need to do better. What do you guys need to do better tomorrow night?
I think neutral zone. We had a lot of turnovers in neutral zone. I mean, Chicago's a very good checking team. They're not an overly physical team, though. And their transition game is probably one of the better transition games in the league. And making them go 200 feet for all their chances will go a long way. And I think the outcome of the game.
Dustin, you guys have played more games at this stage than you did a year ago at this point. What's the fatigue level like? It seems like the energy comes in spurts and maybe not as omnipresent as it was a year ago this time.
I think it's fair to say we're probably not as fresh as we were last year. We had 4 or 5 days off between every series, and like you said, we haven't played as many games or this time last year. But at the same time, this time of year, when you're going through it, you're not thinking, "Oh, I'm tired." You're just reloading and getting ready to go again. And it's a more of a mental, getting your head wrapped around it mentally than it is physically, I think.
We've talked about it a ton. What changes when you guys come home? How are you guys a different team at home?
It's hard to say. I mean, we have played better hockey at home, and I think part of it is we get in on the forecheck better, and you look at around the league. I think this is probably the one year where I'm not sure the percentages, but I'm sure it's pretty high. The home league-wide, it's been close to 70%, I think. So teams, I think, feed off their energy at home, and playing in front of our fans is great, and just getting off to a good start.
Talking about Toffoli, I mean, you're getting a longer look at him. Obviously, he came in with the reputation as a sniper, but he seems to be pretty detail-oriented, too. Just, a little bit about what he's been doing well for you guys.
I think he does the little things pretty well for a young guy. He's not the biggest or most filled-out guy yet. That'll come with time, but the one thing that stands out with Toph for me is his willingness to battle along the walls. And sometimes you don't see that in a smaller, younger guy. He's shown that he's willing to do that, and I think that goes a long way in progressing as a professional. That's probably the hardest part of the game. It's not the skill; it's the will on the wall.
Dustin, you talked about mental preparation. Tomorrow will be the third playoff game in 4 nights, 5 and 10. For you specifically, what do you do physically different to corral the energy, so to speak?
Well, a day like today is just, again, about getting your rest. I mean, it's been a long couple of days playing back-to-back and the travel. And it's just getting back to square one today, and then tomorrow you start focusing on the mental side of things and getting yourself reloaded.
Dustin, as captain of this team, you have to deal with a myriad of problems, not only yours but your teammates as well. Have you talked to Kopitar just a little bit to talk to him about how frustrated he is and what he can do to get out of his slump?
I think it's pretty fair to say we're probably, as a line, we're collectively in a slump, and it's about, we looked over some video today, and we know what we need to do better. It's getting into the offensive zone where our spacing is pretty significant, and it's hard to play, especially against a team like Chicago. They kind of have that man-on-man with an extra man in there, and when you don't have the spacing right, one guy eliminates the body, the other guy is quick on the puck. So probably more importantly against Chicago, we need to have closer support in all three zones.